share with you my 2025 sewing goals. I know we're over halfway through the year, but I really wanted to share some of the things that I've been thinking about, things that I want to make in 2025 and going into early 2026. And I thought it'd be fun to sit down. I'm still working on hand stitching my baby's quilt, so I only have 5 rows left. So I thought it'd be fun to sit down, work on this, and talk about my plans when it comes to sewing for the rest of the year. If you're working on a project, whether it be a quilt or a garment or a crochet project, feel free to go ahead and grab your project as well and work alongside of me. So if you guys have been here for any length of time, you know that I've been working on this baby quilt. I started this quilt last September when we found out our baby's gender. As soon as I found out the baby's gender, I knew I wanted to make a baby quilt. I ended up finding Pin Cut Sew's pattern. She did a gingham style baby quilt and she did a tutorial on YouTube. I will link it down below for you guys if you're interested, but she offered a free pattern. I ended up getting that. It was pretty straightforward. It's just squares that you put together to make a gingham pattern, and that's what I went off of. Been gradually working on it, and we're getting really close to being able to start binding the quilt, which I'm very excited about. But once again, never done it before, so more videos to come on the baby quilt with updates, showing you guys the process as somebody who's just learning as I go. I will say, since having the baby, I find that I spend a lot of my spare time watching sewing videos or searching on Pinterest to get ideas for future projects that I would like to do, because I've learned through this quilting process that while I'm definitely no perfectionist and I just like to get things done, it's really just sparked so much creativity in me to look up different fabrics and look up different patterns and things that I'm interested in. And I've really gone down that whole rabbit hole of like, I would be very interested in learning how to sew garments, which I never really saw myself doing. I've always just been drawn to quilting, which is still something that I'm really passionate about, and I definitely want to grow my quilting skills. But from this project, I've definitely started to branch out and think of other things that I would like to do. So that being said, I wanted to share a few of the other ideas that I have that I'd like to work on this year. And these are my goals, the things I'd like to work on this year, but also kind of like my wish list items, because obviously being a new mom, that's where my primary focus is. So there's only so much time. Getting the baby quilt done is my #1 priority. I would love to have it done and ready to go so that I can give it to my baby for Christmas. So once the hand stitching is done, we're gonna work on binding it, try to get that done in a timely manner. And then I have a little label that I got made on Etsy, and I'm going to add that on there, and I'm really excited for that. So like I said, more to come on that in that process if you're interested in those videos. But a couple other things that I'd really like to work on this year is quilted stockings. If you were here last Christmas, I ended up taking that original quilt block that I made last year when I was planning on making a red and white quilt earlier in the year before I found out I was pregnant. I was planning on making this red and white vintage style star quilt, and then once I found out I was pregnant, I put a pause on that and then started the baby quilt. Well, my intention was to eventually get back to the red and white quilt and make that in the future, but at Christmas time we actually lost one of our stockings. I have no idea where it went, and so we were missing a stocking. And I had this extra quilt block that I already made. It was red and white, and I always wanted to have quilted stockings. So I decided to make a pattern from Rooney Sewing Patterns. She's also on YouTube. I'll have her information linked down below as well. I think her name's Courtney. And I followed her stocking pattern, and I think it was $5, very affordable. You just print out the pattern at home, and it was very straightforward. Like I said, as somebody who is very, very new to sewing, it was really easy to follow, and I made a stocking. It looks like a stocking. I'm very proud of it. So I always knew that I wanted to make another stocking for myself, and now of course this year with the baby, I would love to make 2 more quilted stockings. I had this idea of a floral stocking, a floral quilted stocking that I wanted to put a single sawtooth star onto. I wanted to have a scalloped edge on the cuff. And so ended up finding 2 different floral fabrics that I really like. They're really pretty. I want to say they're from Shabby Fabrics. I will link the information to the store as well where I got them. But I found these really pretty vintage florals and I ended up grabbing those, and I wanted to have a quilted stocking with these vintage florals as the background of the stocking, and then a solid white star and a solid red star on each one, because my husband's stocking that I made last year is solid red and solid white. So then me and my daughter's stockings will be the vintage floral with a solid red and a solid white star. So I ended up taking my ideas that I had and I used ChatGPT to go ahead and actually put what I had envisioned in my head into an image. Ended up getting this picture of what the stocking would look like. Obviously it's not perfect. I used the free version of the website, so you only can ask it so many questions in so much amount of time. So I kind of just gave up at a certain point, knowing like, okay, this is generally what it looks like. And I actually took the fabric that I ordered on the website and was able to upload a picture of the fabric, so they had the actual fabric that I was going to be using for the stockings. And so I was able to get a really realistic looking picture of what the stocking that I had envisioned in my head was going to look like. I'm going to be using the pattern from Rooney Sewing again, and then I actually found a tutorial by Pin Cut Sew as well, where she does the single star on a stocking. So I'm going to use the measurements of the Rooney pattern, and then I'm going to follow the tutorial for making the star from Pin Cut Sew. Okay, so realistically, I think that is what I'm going to be able to accomplish before the end of the year. So that's like my main goal. If I can get the quilt done and the 2 stockings done, I would be very happy with that progress. But there are a couple other things that I would like to get done as well. I definitely want to make a happy birthday banner before my daughter's first birthday, so that's something that I want to do. I found a blog post on Pinterest that showed step-by-step how to make a happy birthday banner using fabric and also felt. And I think it is so cute. So I would love to follow that pattern, and all this information will be linked down below. So if you want to see the direct patterns or the tutorials, I'll have those all linked down below for you. But yeah, I want to slowly throughout this year see what I have left over from scraps from this quilt that I'm making and the Christmas stockings, and if I have any leftover fabric, I'd love to use that to incorporate in the happy birthday banner. I think that could be really cool as well, and this banner can be used year after year, which I think would be really special as well. The 2 other patterns that I'd really like to work on are both from Rooney Sewing Patterns again. I really enjoy her videos. She makes a lot of garments as well, so if you're interested in garments, she'd be a good channel for you as well. But she does make a lot of items for her children as well, which I love. She makes a quilt for each of her babies, and she makes these really beautiful like crinkle books, which is so fun. And I would love to make one of these little baby crinkle books for my baby. I actually have already made the book with my husband. We used Canva to create the graphics and make each page. And so it's just a matter of getting the fabric that we want to use, printing the pages onto the fabric, and then sewing everything together. So that is something I would love to do as well. If you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know, and in the future maybe I can make a video on that. And the last project that I want to work on either this year or early next year is making a either teddy bear, like an actual teddy bear, or a teddy bear lovey. I haven't officially decided which way I want to go yet, but Courtney from Rooney Sewing Patterns again has a pattern for a teddy bear, but it's not only a teddy bear, there's also a pattern inside the pattern for a lovey. So if you don't want to make an actual bear, you can make the lovey version as well. I think as I get closer to being able to make that pattern, I'll be able to decipher which one would be better for her based on her age. But once again, I just love the idea of making your children's items, whether it be clothing or little special books for them, or a teddy bear or a lovey or something like that, a quilt, something that they can have not only while they're young and enjoy it, but it's also something that you can store away and one day give it to them as a gift when they're older, and they can just see these special treasures that were made over the years for them. I just think that's so cool and something I really want to be able to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and let me know if you're interested in this type of sit down video where we work on a project together and just chat. It can be about sewing, another topic that you're interested in me talking about in regards to sewing or future craft project, or it could be completely unrelated. It can be about homemaking in general, or really anything. So leave me a comment down below if this is something you're interested in seeing more of, and if you have any topics you'd like me to talk about or specific questions you'd like me to answer, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.